Hey everyone, it's Roxabox90 here with the highlights of the second Commander game between Jacob, Scion of the Ur Dragon deck, and Mike Sigarda, host of Herons. So let's get down to it. The game started off with Jacob winning the die roll and choosing to go first. He played a Badlands and passed his turn to Mike, who on his turn used Averting Catacombs to go search up a basic forest, which he put into play untapped for the cost of 1 life. He then cast a Draga Chi Speaker and passed the turn to Jacob, who played a Rootbound Crag, and then used his 2 mana to cast a Swiftfoot Boots from his hand. Mike drew and played a Misty Rain Forest, which for 1 life he used to search up a Temple Garden, which he put into play. He lost 2 life as having it come into play untapped, and then tapped 2 mana to level up his Draga Tree Speaker. Jacob on his turn played a Vesuva as a copy of his own Badlands, and he then tapped 2 to terminate Mike's Draga in order to prevent Mike from ramping up. On Mike's turn he didn't play any lands, instead tapping 2 to cast Stoneforge Mystic, which he used to search his library for a Sword of Light and Shadow. Jacob untapped and then played a basic forest, tapping 3 to cast his Fires of Yavimaya from his hand. Mike drew and again didn't play a land, opting instead to cast an Ulven Wall Tracker before ending his turn. Jacob's next turn was uneventful, and so Mike drew and then, without playing a land again, cast Expedition Map. On Jacob's next turn, he drew and played a mountain, tapping 5 mana to cast his Planeswalker Liliana Vess. He used her -2 ability to Vampiric Tutor a card and put that card on top of his deck before ending his turn. Mike on his turn continued to have only 2 mana, but he tapped his garden to cast a land tax. He then chose to attack Liliana with his 2 creatures, bringing her down to 1 loyalty before ending his turn. Jacob on his turn cast a Sky Shroud Claim, searching through his deck for an Overgrown Tomb and a Hollowed Fountain, mistake by the way, both of which he put into play tapped rather than pay life for them. He then plussed Liliana 1 up, causing Mike to discard a Wiltleaf Liege, which went right into play instead of the graveyard, giving Mike sudden board advantage. Mike on his upkeep searched up 3 basic lands with his land tax and then put a plains into play. He tapped 2 mana to cast Celestia Signet and then attacked Liliana with his tracker and Jacob with his remaining creatures. Liliana went to the graveyard and Jacob down to 24 life. Jacob drew and played a Crumbling Necropolis, then cast his commander for 5 mana. When he tried to equip Scion with Swiftfoot Boots, Mike cast a Path to Exile in response to put the dragon back in the command zone and gave Jacob a basic island into play as compensation. Starting as upkeep, Mike used his land tax to search up another 2 basic lands to put into his hand, and then put a forest into play. He tapped 5 mana to cast Sigarda, and then swung with everything he had to bring Jacob down to 16. Jacob followed this up by replaying Scion from the command zone on his next turn, and then attacked with Scion. Mike blocked with Sigarda, and then Jacob used Scion's ability to search up Dragon Tyrant. He also sacrificed his Fires of Yavimaya in order to not only kill Mike's Sigarda, but also deal 11 trample damage with his commander. Mike on his next turn didn't use land tax, instead playing a basic forest and then tapped 2 mana and his Stoneforge in order to put Sword of Light and Shadow into play. He equipped the Sword of Light and Shadow to Wiltleaf Liege and tapped another 2 mana, this time using his tracker's ability to make Wiltleaf Liege fight against Jacob's Scion. The Liege won out handily, sending Scion to the graveyard, and then swung for 6 damage. The sword gave Mike 3 life and put the Draga Chi Speaker back into his hand from the graveyard. On Jacob's next turn, he tapped 5 mana to cast Patriarch's Bidding, which put Scion and Tyrant back into play. He equipped the Swiftfoot Boots to Scion and then used Scion's ability to get Karthus, Tyrant of Jund. Jacob then attacked for 19 lethal damage in order to win the game. And thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, tap that like button to let me know you want to see more EDH Commander gameplay. And then if you aren't already subscribed, subscribe before heading down to the comment section to let me know what you thought of this awesome game. And as always, Roxabox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.